The New Bedford Highway Killer, Massachusetts, 1988 to 1989. In the late 1980s, the industrial city of New Bedford, Massachusetts, once the whaling capital of the world, became the epicenter of a grisly mystery. Over the span of a single year, at least 9 women vanished, their bodies later found dumped along the highways and back roads of Route 140, Interstate 195, and nearby rural areas. Most were found nude or partially clothed, many strangled or stabbed, and all were believed to have been involved in sex work or drug use, making them vulnerable prey. Though police suspected a serial killer early on, the case quickly became mired in jurisdictional gridlock, poor evidence preservation, and the stigma associated with marginalized victims. Over 35 years later, the identity of the New Bedford Highway Killer remains a haunting question mark. The Vanishing begins. The first victim, Rochelle Clifford Dupierala, 28, was last seen in April 1988. Her remains were discovered in December behind a gravel pit off Reed Road in Dartmouth. Around the same time, the body of Deborah Lynn McConnell, 25, was found in nearby woods. Both women had been strangled. Soon after, a cascade of disappearances followed. Ultimately, 9 women were confirmed dead, with 2 others never recovered. All had similar backgrounds, lived in or frequented the New Bedford area, and were known to struggle with addiction. Each body was dumped in isolated overgrown areas, often just off highway exits or remote access roads. In many cases, decomposition had obscured the exact cause of death, but strangulation and stabbing were suspected in most. The killer or killers were clearly familiar with the terrain, knowing where they could hide a body long enough for evidence to vanish. The victims. In addition to Rochelle Clifford Dupierala and Deborah Lynn McConnell, the confirmed victims include Nancy Pava, 36, found along Route 140 in July 1988. Deborah DeMello, 35, disappeared in May, but her body was not found until late fall. Mary Rose Santos, 26, last seen getting into a car at a New Bedford bus station in July. Her remains were found in March 1989, as well as 4 others. Robin Lynn Rhodes, 29, Deborah Medeiros, 29, Dawn Mendez, 25, and Sandra Botello, 24, who disappeared after leaving her apartment around 11 p.m. on August 11, 1988. Her body was later found on April 24, 1989, in a wooded area near Interstate 195 in Marion. Investigators reported that her body was nude and arranged in a fetal position. Hers was the final body to be discovered. 2 more, Christina Montero, 19, and Marilyn Cardoza Roberts, 34, disappeared around the same time, but were never found. Many of these women were mothers. All had families who grieved and fought for justice in the face of apathy and mismanagement. A killer on familiar ground. The way the bodies were scattered suggested knowledge of backroads and off-ramps, leading authorities to speculate that the killer may have been a truck driver, delivery worker, or someone intimately familiar with the area. Others believed he may have been a local, perhaps someone who posed as a customer or friend before turning violent. The media dubbed the killer the New Bedford Highway Killer, drawing parallels to other serial offenders who preyed on vulnerable women, such as the Green River Killer or Long Island serial killer. But unlike those cases, New Bedford lacked the forensic breakthroughs or witness reports that might break the case open. Suspects and theories. At least two primary suspects emerged during the initial investigation. The first was Kenneth Pont, a New Bedford attorney with a history of drug use and erratic behavior. He represented several of the victims in court prior to their deaths and was the last known person seen with at least one. Pont was indicted in 1990 for the murder of Rochelle Dopiarala, but the case was dropped for lack of evidence and he was never charged again. Pont died in 2010. Another man, Anthony DeGrazia, a local laborer, was arrested for unrelated sexual assaults and later died under mysterious circumstances. Though he was considered a strong suspect, no direct evidence linked him to the killings. The possibility of multiple killers was also floated, given the victims' varied body conditions and locations. Some investigators theorized that a group of predators may have exploited the vulnerable sex trade sector. There was also speculation that a dirty cop or someone with inside knowledge of the investigation may have been involved, though this theory has never been substantiated. The aftermath. By the early 1990s, the killings had stopped. Whether the killer had died, moved, or been imprisoned remains unknown. In 2000, the case was featured on America's Most Wanted, sparking brief renewed interest. But no arrests followed. In 2022, investigators admitted that most of the physical evidence had degraded or been lost, making prosecution nearly impossible without new witnesses or confessions. For the families of the victims, the pain endures. Each year, local advocates host vigils to keep their memories alive, calling on police to do more. Murals of the victims appear in the city's South End, their faces now etched into New Bedford's haunted legacy. Still at large. To this day, the New Bedford Highway Killer has not been identified. Some locals believe he still lives nearby. Others think he's long gone, perhaps having claimed more victims elsewhere. What's certain is that whoever committed these murders knew how to blend in, how to choose victims who wouldn't immediately be missed, and how to disappear without a trace. He or they turned the highways of southeastern Massachusetts into a trail of terror. And until someone comes forward, the killer remains still at large.